Hi, how you guys doing? Um, we're gonna do a one card reading. I started with one card yes, no, and I think it's a great way to begin. I think it's a great way to learn the deck. Um, I do not have the cards memorized. And so I read with my books open. And so here on YouTube in this educational space, I hope you have your books open too. When I was first learning, I was practicing card games because I was very bad at spades and euchre, and my friends were very good at them. And so I would sit back and practice these games late into the night. And into the night, the cards began to tell me a different story. But what was surprising was it was my story, the story of my future. And the cards began to tell me more about my evening before I went to experience it than I could find, well, within my own plans for the night. And so eventually, I just started asking the cards what I should do. Hello, how are you? I'm Action. I've been Action on YouTube since 2006. All my friends know me as Action. If I was to give you my real name, nobody would know who I am. But a lot of people want to say, hey, that's not what your mother calls you. So my name here is what my mother calls me. You guys can call me what my mom calls me. You know what I'm saying? There you go. Or you can call me what I'd like. But hey, when I was a kid, I used to say to myself, do I want to go out tonight? Yes or no? Black for yes, black for no, red for yes. We've got spades. That's a big no. We're not going out tonight. We're not going out tonight. Do I want to watch Netflix or do I want to watch Hulu? That's not a yes or no question, is it? Expansion in your heart space. That would be whichever one you love more. No, but it's a wonderful tool to help you with your own decisions. Right? Do I want to drink today? Yes. I do want to drink today. But I haven't drank in a month. I'm not going to drink today. But it's okay to accept that I want to. But will I be able to create an informal space on YouTube for everyone to congregate together and learn how to read the cards? Yes, stability in your heart space indeed. But that's how you get to a topic card. Now, if I wanted to expand on that, I could draw another card off of it. Oh my gosh, a 9 of hearts. So there's success within the stability of this endeavor in your heart space. A heart-to-heart transition from expressing my sensitivity to your sensitivity. We're able to take this stable foundation and turn it into a dream come true. Right? And this is how we begin to read the cards. One card turns into two, and two can turn into three just that easily. Expansion in your labor field. Expansion in your personal endeavors. No, your professional endeavors or your passion projects. This is both professional and passionate project. I am here to create a very safe place for us all to try and learn these cards together. I don't think cartomancy is very similar to tarot. Oh, of course it's very similar. We've got representation of cards. Tarot is a form of cartomancy, but cartomancy is not a form of tarot. And unfortunately, we don't have a cool name for this style of reading. It carries the umbrella term that all the styles of card readings carry. Even the lady Liam Limerand, The Lady Limeran that brought us many of the styles. I don't have a direct name for a style of reading that uses the 52 card playing deck outside of cartomancy. And so I've begun to call myself a cartomancer because I read only the 52. Well, I leave my jacks in. So I've got a 54 card deck that I'm now putting back in order. and I grab my intuitive guidance from this situation, this disposition. And I read my cards. I read one card, I read two cards, I read three. And we will break those all down. I think they're very, in a simple way, very easily. Don't mind a bit of the poetry of prose brushes off of the old branch of the rose. We'll try to not to get too thorny for you. But a lot of people are saying, hey, how do I start? Grab a deck. I've got one that isn't too fancy. It's the same. It's not going to be any more or less magical. It's not going to be any more or less magical. The regular aviator deck, $5 at the grocery store. You could buy them at the gas station. But that's how close you are to intuitive guidance. At all times, the universe is doing its best to come and speak with you. Should I trust the universe? No. The Queen of Spades herself, should you trust her? No. The universe says don't trust the universe. I love it here. Should I trust myself? Yes. In a healthy way. You should trust yourself in the health of your passions. What is it they all say? Chase down that in which inspires you most. And find your most authentic self-representation. Hunt down that in which you find most exciting. This thrills me because it's been passed down for generations, thousands of years, across cultural boundaries to reach us, cultural boundaries and language boundaries to reach us here. And we're digging it up like archaeologists. This is Indiana Jones work. Detraction. The opposite of expansion. I'm looking for a better word for it. Danger. But this is single card reading. Ask a yes or no question. Black for no. Red for yes. If you have a system that you like that has an explanation of the cards, then you can go deeper and further into that explanation with a single card reading. So, will I get a promotion at work? No. In fact. I'm not up for one. I'm not looking for what I like. I like what I do. I like what I do and where I'm at in my job. But what other meanings does the Three of Spades hold? If you're brand new, spades can often represent problems, danger, calamity. People sometimes say that spades are bad luck, that they're no good for you. But they can also represent responsibilities. Okay, they can also represent well, from my books here, there are many things that are not pleasant about spades. But I don't think that there's any one thing that's going to have nothing good about it. For instance, I consider responsibilities and challenges good things. right? Some people do not. Now, in reverse engineering this art form, we are going to take pieces from practitioners and apply them to our own practice. Because what happens is this style of reading is very direct. And if you were to spell out, when I read for myself, I expect that reading to happen within that day or that week. Usually not much further than that. I read for myself twice a day to see what's going to happen in the morning and what's going to happen at night, in the evening. Okay? It's a right now kind of action on my table, at least. Every divinator is going to be different. You're a different part of the source, reading the code and interpreting it intuitively in a different way. So, let's check out the suit of spades. For everyone brand new, we're working with negativity, problems, responsibilities, obligations, law enforcement, force in general. So I'm not sure if that's the Jedi force or the E=mc². Obstacles, delays, but there's also mysteries. Is that the good kind or the bad kind? Secrets. That can be the good kind or the bad kind. Decisions, karmic debts, obsessions, and addictions. Resentment, anger, setbacks, frustration, loneliness, confinement, anxiety, failure, fear, illness, and loss. What do all those things have in common? Because that's going to be what the characteristic of the suit is. And then you go and look at other systems and how do they use that suit? And then you can boil down, what does that mean to you? Because we're all using a different system. I'll link the system that I use down in the comments, and we'll see you in the next video for a 2-card reading. But wait. The 3 of spades characteristics. We have to talk about why am I not getting this freaking promotion. Traditionally, the card of loss or deception, lies, misunderstanding, confusion, a growing problem, a worsening condition, deterioration, disease, and infection, third-party interference, a third wheel, meddling, a love triangle, what goes on behind the scenes, trials and tribulations, a test and an exam. Now, I thought I wasn't going to get that promotion because I just didn't want one. Now there's all this extra stuff to deal with. No. When I would see the 3 of spades, I would say, how is this pertaining to my situation? And then you would open up definitions that people have used, because there's multiple representations every card will have. And you look to say, how does this relate to my scenario? How does this relate to my situation? There's a challenge at work for me in getting along with people because sometimes I am abrasive. Sometimes I'm just an awful lot to deal with. Okay. And as far as the 3 of spades being why I don't get a promotion, it could be in misunderstanding and confusion in my communication with the other members of my team. Okay? I'm hoping there's not a growing problem that's happening behind the scenes that I haven't been informed of, but that potential is also there in the mire, my friends. So I suppose there's always the opportunity to be dishonest. Because I could say, I don't get it. Why would that happen to me? Or I could say, you know what? Maybe I'm not the nicest person. Maybe not everybody likes me being around. Maybe I've rubbed someone the wrong way. And that's okay. I wasn't looking for a promotion anyway. But hey, I'll talk to you guys. We're going to do a 2-card reading next. Enjoy.